Hey guys, welcome back. So if you're new here, thank you for joining us and welcome to the Southern Rustic. So glad to have you. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my recipe for the Southern Classic chicken cornbread dressing. Now there's so many variations of this out there, but this is pretty much the basic. You can add in anything you want. You can add in cranberries or dried fruit, whatever your little heart desires, you can add it in. So today I'm just going to be sharing with you just the basic version, and then you can play around with it later and add in whatever you want. So let's go over the ingredients and let's get started. Okay guys, what you're going to need is you're going to need cornbread. Now I made this cornbread yesterday and I just let it hang out in the pan, come to room temperature, and so it's all ready and good to go for today. Now I will have the full written recipe on my blog, so you can have the recipe for the cornbread, or you can just use your favorite recipe for cornbread. Whatever you want to do is fine. You're just going to need a little bit of cornbread. Now I cut the recipe in half because I'm not going to be making a lot today, but the full recipe will be double this amount, so just keep that in mind. You're going to need cornbread, 2 eggs. Now you're going to need sage. Now when I made the cornbread, I did add a little bit of sage into the cornbread, so I'm not going to need that much today. So before you add your eggs, you can go ahead and taste it to see if you need more or less sage. So you're going to need onions, celery. I've just got 1 onion and 2 celery stalks, and I've got about 3 cups of chicken broth. This is just the chicken bouillon powder. I just added it to 3 cups of water. And you're going to need chicken. Now this is chicken that I had made yesterday. It's just simply seasoned with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. You can use a plain rotisserie chicken if you want, or you can use just plain boiled chicken. I like to add a little flavor with it, so I just pan fry it on the stove and a little bit of olive oil. Now I've got about 3 cups here, maybe 4 cups, but you can also eyeball this and you can add as much as you want. So let's get this going, guys. Oh, and another thing, preheat your oven to 375 degrees and go ahead and let that start heating up, and let's get going, guys. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just pretty much going to just break apart your cornbread. You can make it in big chunks, little chunks, it doesn't really matter. It's all going to get smushed up anyway. So let's just break this apart. Now remember, I did add sage into the cornbread yesterday. Also, I added a little bit of poultry seasoning just to bring out the chicken flavor in the dressing. But you certainly don't have to do that. You can just add in sage at this step. Whatever you want to do is completely up to you. It's such a versatile recipe. And we've been making this for years. I remember my grandmother making this when I was little, my mother making this when I was little, and growing up I just come to just start making it on my own. Now from here, what you're going to want to do is add in just enough chicken broth to make the cornbread just a little soupy, I guess you can call it. Just to help mix everything together. And now we're going to start adding in our onions. Our celery. Now if you don't like celery, you can use celery seed. just a little bit. But I kind of like the flavor of the celery in here. It's really, really good. Just give that a little mix. Add in your chicken. You can add in as much or as little as you like. Get a bigger spoon. There we go. Now remember, you can add the chicken broth as you go, and you can make it as thin or thick as you would like. I like mine a little bit on the thinner side, a little bit more soupy. It just helps it stay a little bit more moist, excuse me, a little bit more soft in the cooking process, and it doesn't dry it out. So we're just going to add all of that 3 cups in there. Now at this point, since I added the sage in there, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a taste. Just the cornbread part. It tastes good, but we'll just add a little bit more sage. You don't want it to be overpowering. You want it to be lightly seasoned with the sage, because sage can overpower any dish that you put it on if you go excessive with it. So just be patient, add a little bit, taste it, and if it's where you want it, then you're good to go. So rinse my spoon here and give it another little taste. Just the cornbread part. That is fantastic and on point. So now you're just going to beat up your eggs. Now remember to taste it before you add your eggs, because you don't want to taste it after you add the eggs. So just make sure you mix this in very, very well. You want that egg evenly distributed throughout the entire mixture, because if you don't mix it well, you're going to have a glob of egg, and nobody wants that. So make sure you mix it very, very well. Now at this point you can go ahead and add salt and pepper, but the seasoning part tastes very well, so I'm not going to add salt and pepper, but you are more than welcome to. Just make sure you add it before you add the eggs, so you can taste it and adjust it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to put all this back in the pan. Now let me get a bigger pan. Alright guys, I've got my bigger pan here. Now it's already seasoned, so it's pretty much non-stick, but if you are using any other kind of dish, you might want to go ahead and spray it with some non-stick spray. And then we're just going to add this into the pan. Make sure you get it all in there. And just kind of spread it out evenly. Make sure it's pretty even on top, just so it cooks evenly. Okay, it is all even. So at this point you're just going to put this in a 375 degree oven for about 40 to 50 minutes. Pretty much depends on your oven, because you know some oven temperatures vary in temperature, so just keep an eye on it. You don't want it dry. You want it to be, I know people hate this word, but you want it to be moist and golden brown on top. So I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright guys, so it's been in the oven for about 50-55 minutes. I've just taken it out and I've put some on a little plate here, and this is what it looks like. It's so good. We make this pretty much every year for the holidays. Get some on my fork here. If you don't want the crunch of the celery and the onions, you can cook them first and then add them in. Just let them cool down before you add your eggs, or it'll scramble your eggs. But that's how we like it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Hit that little red subscribe button down below, and leave a comment in the comment section if you try this recipe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.